Well, the Mud Hens home schedule came to an end this past weekend as we welcome in Matt Melzak from the Toledo Mud Hens. And Matt, true or false, the biggest crowd eruption Sunday was when the Lions kicked the field goal to force overtime, or during the Mud Hens game?
Ah, boy, I'm going to tell you, it probably was when they kicked the field goal. And they did throw it up on the video board just so that everyone could see
happened
the
during
field
a pitching
goal.
change, so it worked out nicely.
It did. And the funny thing was, you had all the players turning around watching it too. So it was pretty neat to actually see. You know, just the last couple of years being September baseball, where we've had a chance to do that. You know, in years past, you might have a college game. You wouldn't have had the NFL start by the time we've kicked off or finishing up the baseball season. So I guess in a way it's a bonus, but yes, that was probably the loudest. When you only get 2 hits, it's going to happen that way, and it did.
Shane Bieber had a lot to do with that.
Yes.
As a former Cy Young Award winner, making a rehab start, didn't allow any hits, struck out 7 through, I think, 3
and 2/3. Yep, 3 2/3 innings. Yeah, he was pretty dominant, and then you get into the bullpens, and that can kind of slow you up too. And certainly, hats off to Columbus. They finished strong with a good game. Toledo won the series, though, 4-2, and won 4 straight in that. Actually, lost the first game, lost the last game of the series, but winning the middle 4 and looked pretty good doing it.
Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a recency bias, but I got to think the biggest thing that we're going to take away from this season is the way the Hens played in August and September. I
would think so, and the way they started. I think you try to just forget about the May, June, July part, because that was the difficult months for the Mud Hens, and that's when their roster was really making a lot of turnover. And then you saw in the back part of the year, I think you're right on the takeaway, because that's when you saw Colt Keith coming up. That's when you saw Wencel Perez. That's when you saw the younger players making their way up and being a part of the program. You saw Parker Meadows really taking off. Malloy had a great year all year. Great. You saw that all year. He was terrific. Parker Meadows was really good most of the year. Actually really got going there in late May for him. But, just seeing some of the younger guys, Sawyer Gibson-Long comes up, pitches great. I think that's where you could take away that last part of the year and go, you know what, there is some hope on the horizon. You look at Colt Keith probably makes the big league club next year, or at least will be in that heavy mix to make the big league club. He's played a lot of second base lately. They're going to have an opening more than likely there. So we'll see, if he's in that mix. We'll see where Justin Henry Malloy lands when it all is said and done. But you start looking at some of the other guys like Wencel Perez, who I chronicled earlier. And, you take a look at like Ryan Kreidler. Where will he finish? Does he end up being a big league guy, at least starting on the bench maybe for the Tigers? You don't know where any of this stuff will shake out, but there's some important spring games that'll be coming up when we hit March for a lot of these younger Tiger players, because somebody, maybe a Justice Bigby, has a great spring and makes his way to the big league club, but I think he'll be a guy we probably see here, but you never know. And that's the great thing about when you get into the off season, and we'll see what the Tigers do spending wise and how these young players play in the spring.
We'll give you a few weeks off, but once the fish hit the ice, Matt will be back with us every Monday to discuss the walleye. But for now, in the Mud Hen season, it's all over for us. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate all your time this evening.
Hey, Mark, anytime, guys. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to getting walleye season underway.